Julia Heymach of Stanford making the 1500 meter final. So how'd you feel about the race today?
Yeah, I was really happy with it. I think a lot of today was about making sure I was in good positioning, being smart, and staying in contact with the leaders, like 800 to go. I think in the past I've tried to rely a little bit too much on catching people at the end. There's a lot of girls here who have really great kicks, of course. So I was pretty happy with it. I think that I learned some stuff from it, and then also was able to get in a good rhythm where I was in contact with the leaders at the important parts of the race. So overall pretty happy with it, but definitely we'll see how I feel after I speak with Coach Clark.
Yeah. And you didn't make the final in this race last year, right?
Right.
So what went wrong in 2021 at this meet?
Okay, so that race was actually really weird because I fell like just a couple of meters from the finish. And from the video, like, it just looks like I fell with no cause at all, which is kind of what happened. But it was because like 100 meters earlier, so with 150 meters to go, I tripped up a bit, and like I was like this much towards the ground, but I didn't fall all the way or anything like that. And I caught up a little too fast with the group. And so when I fell at the very end, it was because I tied up like super weird, and like all of a sudden, just like right at the finish, because of that earlier weird thing, and just like trying to be a little too rushed with catching up again. So yes, I'm very happy that this year it went better and I made it through. Like, I'm very grateful for just being in the top 12, who gets to have the opportunity to race in the final. And it is more special because last year I wasn't able to get that chance. So yeah.
And how'd you, I mean, you went from that to then at the Olympic trials, you run 4:04, like the sixth place. Like, was that a big breakthrough? Was that surprising for you at all? Or how'd you make that big jump?
Yeah, it actually like wasn't too surprising because I felt like my training had been going super well for a long time. And I think like at regionals last year, I went from like having a 4:17 PR to like telling Coach Clark right before the final at regionals, so I guess technically the quarterfinals, to telling him like, oh, I want to see if I can run the Olympic trials standard because this is my last chance probably before trials to get a time for it. And like that was when I had a 4:17 PR, and I think the qualifying time was like 4:06. The field is obviously filled higher than that, it ended up being filled to 4:09, and I was able to run 4:09, like not completely going for it, but like still trying to run fast at regionals. So I feel like that was honestly a bigger jump than going from the 4:09 to the 4:04.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I think I had a great training block, and like last year knew I would be able to race well off of it as long as I got some good setups where I didn't like make any dumb choices where I ended up falling and that sort of thing. But
yeah.
I'm so grateful for how last year played out because I really did only make trials by like a couple tenths of a second. And so yeah, I'm very grateful that opened some doors for me and gave me a lot more confidence coming into this year with what I could do, what paces I could get after in racing and in training. And so yeah, definitely very grateful, and it's gonna be super cool to just get the chance to race against these girls in the finals.
Yeah. How do you feel your fitness right now compares to where you were at last year?
I feel like I'm in pretty similar shape. Like I feel like things are going super well, and I was honestly really proud during indoor season to open up the mile in a 4:31 at BU. Because I do feel like I gained so much momentum like later on in the year, and so that was like March, or yeah, that was already a few months ago, and I feel like I'm in better shape than that. So I don't know, we have to see.
What's the goal for the final?
It's just to race well, and place as high as I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for the time. Good luck in the final.